Well, hello, and today we're joined by our good friend Polly Butler from the, is it Thorpe St Peter WI?
That's it.
It is, and you're the president.
Yes.
For your sins?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, how long have you been the president?
I think about 5 years, probably.
5 years?
Yes. Unfortunately, nobody wants the job.
Oh, it's one of those, is it? Yeah.
But it's not a difficult job.
No.
I could not do it without the team. I could not do it without the secretary and the treasurer and the rest of the committee. The president is like a figurehead.
Yes.
I'm the one who makes the noise, and
You're the one that would go on the stamp if they had one.
probably the one that I'm the face of it.
Yeah.
So I've got to be the one with a smile. I need to be the one that is there for people because I love people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we've asked you to come in today and obviously have a chat with you about not only our local WI, but perhaps WI in general, and get a bit more information about it and see if we can help you perhaps recruit new members and build up some of your support, and perhaps give people a more open insight into what they perhaps currently perceive the WI of being and what actually maybe it is in reality, and maybe dispel a few myths and things like that about the WI. You agree with that?
Yes.
You do. Lovely. That's always a good start, isn't it? So we have some questions for you. So question 1. When was the WI formed and why?
I've got some information, but because I can't remember things like I used to do, is it okay if I read it
Absolutely.
out?
Absolutely.
I've got the first women's institutes were founded by a lady called Adelaide Hoodless. They were formed in Canada in 1897, and similar organisations were started in Belgium and Ireland in the early 1900s. Several years before the formation of the first WI in Llanfair, whatever it is, in Wales in 1915. In each country, it was the conviction that rural women had an important role to play in their local communities that led to the creation of the first women's institutes. There was a strong belief that in order to fulfil this role, women needed education and encouragement, and that these could be found in the welcoming and safe environments of the new WIs. The Women's Institute in the UK was formed in 1915 to revitalise rural communities and encourage women to become more involved in producing food during the First World War. Since then, the organisation's aims have broadened, and the WI is now the largest voluntary women's organisation in the UK. It will celebrate its centenary in 2015.
Wonderful. That's marvellous. So how many? Do you know roughly how many groups are across the country? Is it purely a UK based, or is it a worldwide phenomenon?
We are the Women's Institute. I think it's mainly the UK, but we're affiliated to the National Association of Country Women Worldwide.
Right.
I don't know a lot about that, although I should. Currently we have over 210,000 members in around 6,600 WIs in the country.
Fantastic, fantastic. I didn't realise there was that many. I mean, it's quite a surprise. That. I mean, I know years ago. I mean, obviously, you use the Urban Braytop Village Hall.
Yes.
As your meeting place, don't you? No.
Yes.
And on our governing documents, going back many years, there was the Urby. I think the Urban Braytop WI, because they used to hold a seat on our village hall committee many years ago. And I suppose, like everything, isn't it? As time's gone on, it's sadly faded out. But it's fantastic to see that effectively you're continuing on the village hall's life with WI on Thorpe.
There's a lot of us. I mean, it generally says for the education of rural women, but it's not rural. There's a lot of WIs, new WIs forming. The WI have a magazine that comes out every couple of months, which I haven't brought a copy with me. And there are amazing places. They're in towns, they're in cities, they're in workplaces. There was an article a while ago on a fire station somewhere that set up their WI at work. And there's a lot of young women coming into it.
Good.
I think there's a lot of young women want to learn old skills, but we don't only do old skills.
I think that the younger people today have lost all those skills that their mothers years ago would teach them how to do the basics like cooking and knitting and any of those sewing skills, just really to get them through the day when they have a little problem, this, that and the other. And it seems like the generations have gradually dropped off from doing that, and it's more convenient just to go to a shop and buy a packet of food and cook something like that, and those skills have gradually been lost. But you know, I know there are people that do obviously do it, but I think overall those skills have gradually been lost. You know, doing the normal things that mothers and daughters would always do years ago. You know.
We've got a huge loss of extended family nowadays. So grandma doesn't do a lot. Although, no, yes, a lot of grandmas do a lot. But they don't teach their granddaughters to cook anymore like they used to do. Although there is a huge upsurge of young women wanting to learn how to cook properly. They don't teach you in schools anymore like I learned domestic science at school. So if there's nobody to teach you, how are you ever going to learn?
Absolutely. And I suppose the opportunity is perhaps for young ladies who want to learn these skills and learn more about it. The WI is a perfect place to come along and meet people and make friendships as well as anything else, and obviously perhaps build up some skills. You know, I'm not suggesting for a minute that my initial vision of the WI is you all sit there making jam, because we know that's not the case anymore, is it?
No.
We know you do so much. But I think for perhaps a young person who'll be listening to this thinking, well, you know, I'd like to learn some more about life skills, I'd like to get involved in something, that maybe the WI is the place for me.
We do a lot of things. Sadly, we're down to 9 members, so we can't do as much as we would like to do. There's just a new one just opened in Skegness, and they've got lots of members.
Right.
So they can do they have lots of little subcommittees. A lot of places have, they have walking groups, they've got reading groups. They do learn how to bake. They do good in the community, but they do good in the wider community as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Right then, when was your group formed?
We are 70. We had our 70th presentation in the last 2 or 3 years.
Wonderful.
So we are over 70 years old. We started when I was young, and my mum used to go. It was in Thorpe St Peter Village Hall,
Yeah.
which is not there anymore. And then when that closed, I can't remember. Then they moved to Irby.
Right. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Think of the, you know, I mean, obviously the hall was put in it was 1954, 1957. Irby Hall was.
I don't know if Thorpe and Irby joined.
Right.
I don't know that far back. I don't know whether Irby closed and Thorpe St Peter came to Irby Village Hall.
Because you have members from, you've got members from obviously Braytoft.
I don't think we have any more. We did have a couple of ladies that...
Have you not got Betty?
No, bless her, because she wasn't well enough.
Right.
So she hasn't joined this year. No, she didn't join this year, or might have been last year as well.
Right. I don't know. Right then. How do you become a member?
Ring up and ask, or turn up on the second Wednesday of the month at the Village Hall. We start at about 6:45, 7 o'clock. We have a little bit of a business meeting first. Probably we do quite a lot of laughing. And we laugh at each other. So it's not... We have supposed to have our business meeting, and then we'll have a speaker of some description.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a speaker, sometimes we go out, sometimes we just, an odd time or two, we'll just make our own, entertainment's not the right word, but we'll have maybe a knit and natter. You bring what you want to do, and we'll see if we can help you do it. And what I've got, somebody else will help me to do it.
Brilliant. Right, well what we'll do is we'll take a break. You've picked some music. So we've got the first one here is by Vic Spiderbeck, and it's the Riverboat Shuffle. We'll play that one for you now, and then we'll carry on.
this.